The eDNA Soil Preservation Buffer Kit contains everything you need to take a sample of soil for eDNA analysis. In this kit, you'll receive a pair of sterile nitrile gloves, a soil corer, a barcoded sample pot, a tube of preservation buffer, a disinfectant wipe for decontaminating any reusable equipment, and a specimen safety bag with an absorbent pad. You will need to bring the following items into the field: a rubber mallet, a permanent marker, a smartphone or GPS for recording location data, and consider bringing a trowel or spade if you expect the soil to be hard or dry. Scan the QR code on the kit bag for the full protocol and refer to our guidance on how to choose your sampling locations and take representative samples. Remember to always check and obtain any licenses or permits you need before going into the field. Before taking your sample, it's important to put on the gloves provided to minimize cross-contamination. Once you have defined and marked out your intended sampling area, label the sample pot with your unique sample ID. This should be different from any other samples you may have taken. Remove the corer from the bag and keep hold of the bag as your sample pot will go into it. Remove debris or litter from the surface where you intend to collect the core. This can be done with a gloved hand. Remove the plunger from the corer and push the core into the soil whilst twisting until the core is pushed into the 10 mil mark. You may want to use a rubber mallet to minimize the pressure on your hand. Insert the plunger into the core to provide suction and then pull the core out of the substrate. Expel the core into the sample pot and then replace the lid between subsamples to avoid contamination. If the core will not push in all the way, remove it and try again in a different nearby spot. If soils are too hard and dry, you can use a clean trowel or spade to break up the soil before coring. Repeat at different locations within the sampling area using the same corer until you've collected the required number of subsamples. When all of the subsamples have been collected in the sample pot, pour all of the preservation buffer into the sample pot. Firmly secure the lid on the sample pot and shake to mix the cores and preservation buffer together. Place the sample pot into the specimen safety bag provided and seal as shown. Prior to shipping, samples should be kept in the dark to prevent exposure to sunlight. Samples can be stored at room temperature, however, if they will be stored for more than 2 weeks prior to shipping, or if the ambient temperature is higher than 22 degrees C, it's recommended that they be stored in a freezer. Be sure to make notes of the sample name, coordinates, and other relevant details whilst in the field. Your samples are now ready to send back to the lab for analysis. Prior to sample return, you will need to complete the provided electronic sample manifest with your sample information. Make sure that the unique sample IDs entered into the sample manifest exactly match what you've written on the sample bag. Pack the bags upright. Any empty space should be appropriately filled with packing material. You will be provided with a pouch to attach to the outside of your transport box, a DEFRA letter of authority and a shipping invoice. In the pouch, place 5 copies of the shipping invoice and 1 copy of the DEFRA letter of authority. Place a second copy of the DEFRA letter of authority and a printed copy of your completed sample manifest inside the box. Our logistics team will arrange a courier service for you.